The old house sat at the edge of the village, with weather-beaten wood and ivy curling like fingers up its crooked walls. The villagers often whispered about it, their voices hushed, as if the house itself could hear. But for Lily, it was just home. Lily was only 12, but her life had always been different. She didn't have the typical school experience or spend afternoons running in the fields with friends. Instead, she spent most of her days inside the house, wandering its labyrinth of rooms, exploring its ancient creaks and hidden corners. It wasn't that she was lonely. She had her grandmother, who was as eccentric as the house itself, and her stories of things unseen and unheard, which always made Lily's heart race with wonder. But Lily had always been sensitive. She could feel things others didn't. It was on one of those quiet afternoons when Lily first noticed it. She was sitting in the living room, flipping through one of her grandmother's dusty old books when she heard the sound. It was soft at first, barely perceptible, like the whisper of wind. But as the minutes passed, it grew louder. A slow, deliberate tap, tap, tap. Lily paused and looked around the room, her heart fluttering in her chest. The sound wasn't coming from the window. It wasn't the walls settling. It was coming from somewhere else. Her eyes darted around the room, her gaze eventually falling on the grand staircase that spiraled up to the second floor. The tapping was coming from beneath it. Curiosity, the kind that ran deep in her veins, urged her to investigate. She set the book down and rose to her feet, her bare toes brushing against the cool wooden floor. The air felt heavy, thick with something she couldn't quite place. She approached the stairs slowly, her heart pounding. The sound had stopped. At the foot of the stairs, Lily hesitated for a moment, her hand resting on the banister. "Hello," she called softly, her voice shaky. "Is someone there?" No answer. Just silence. With a deep breath, Lily moved forward, her footsteps quiet but determined. As she reached the base of the stairs, the floor seemed to groan under her weight, a familiar sound in the old house, but this time it felt different. Her eyes scanned the dark space under the stairs, a small closet that was often locked and forgotten. But it wasn't locked now. Lily frowned. She had never noticed that before. Her grandmother always kept that closet locked, always spoke of it in vague terms when Lily asked about it. "That's a place for things that don't belong," her grandmother would say, a mysterious glint in her eye. But now the door was ajar, just a sliver of dark space visible. Tentatively, Lily pushed it open. The air inside was cold, colder than the rest of the house. And then, she saw it. There, crouched in the shadows, was a figure. It was a girl. She couldn't have been much older than Lily, but her pale skin was unnaturally still, her black hair falling in tangled strands over her face. She was sitting cross-legged on the floor, her hands resting in her lap, as though waiting. Lily froze. She wasn't scared, not at first. She was curious, like always, but something about the girl's stillness sent a chill down her spine. Who are you?" Lily asked, her voice trembling slightly. The girl's head tilted slowly, and then, very softly, she whispered, "I'm not supposed to be here." The words were simple, but they struck Lily like a bolt of lightning. Her breath caught in her throat. Was this some kind of dream? Or maybe her imagination was playing tricks on her. Lily took a cautious step forward. "What do you mean?" she asked. The girl's eyes, though vacant, seemed to shimmer. I was here once. But I shouldn't be here now." Lily swallowed hard, her feet feeling rooted to the floor. Something about the way the girl spoke, the way she appeared in this hidden corner of the house, made the hairs on Lily's arms stand on end. The girl slowly lifted a hand, a gesture that made Lily's pulse race. Her fingers were long and pale, almost translucent in the dim light. She pointed toward the back of the closet, and Lily followed her gaze. There, hidden in the shadows, was a small wooden chest. "I was kept in there," the girl said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Locked away." But it wasn't always like that. Lily's curiosity got the better of her, and she moved toward the chest, her fingers brushing against the cold wood. She could feel a strange energy coming from it, something ancient, something heavy with a history she couldn't quite grasp. "What's inside?" she asked, though part of her already feared the answer. The girl's expression didn't change. The one that was buried. Lily reached for the chest's latch, her hand trembling as she touched the rusted metal. She paused, glancing back at the girl, who still hadn't moved. Are you? Lily's voice faltered. Are you a ghost? The girl's eyes flickered with something, regret, maybe. She nodded slowly. I was once alive, but now I am not. Lily opened the chest. Inside, there was nothing but dust and old, brittle papers. She rifled through them, her fingers brushing against faded letters and drawings, until she found a small, silver locket. The locket was intricately designed, with delicate engravings on its surface. It had been half buried beneath the papers, as though it had been hidden for a long time. As soon as Lily touched it, the air around her seemed to shift. The temperature dropped even further, and she felt a sudden weight in her chest. The girl's voice whispered again, now more urgent. You shouldn't have taken it. Lily glanced up. The girl was gone. Her heart raced as she clutched the locket in her hand. The room felt different now, as though something had changed. Something that couldn't be undone. Lily looked down at the locket. It wasn't just a piece of jewelry. It was a key, one that unlocked a door she hadn't yet realized existed. The truth was out there. And now, it was calling to her.